Hello everybody, and welcome back to the World of Warships series. Today, it's going to be more of a teaching episode again. Because there's a growing trend within this community of people really not understanding how some of the core mechanics of the game works, and instead choosing to blame bugs, or what they think are bugs. So today, we're going to go over a brief overview of how dispersion works. Welcome to the World of Warships Builder. Pretty handy website. You can play around with basically anything you may want to play around with on here. You can see things happening on the public test server. They've got a replay loader. They've got, you can literally build out. You can test builds on here, basically, see how they're going to work. But you can also see how dispersion works. If you notice up there, that is 6 kilometers, 500 shells from a Normandy, because you can't see it's a Normandy, but it's a Normandy, shooting at something this... Well, no, you can see it's a Normandy. I'm dumb. Shooting at something the size of a Fuso with dispersion mod. So if you've ever wondered why your shells will sometimes fall short, that's why. I'm going to make a few changes here, just to show some rather interesting stuff. So, jump cut. So here we can see, if we jump up to 16 kilometers, suddenly that entire Fuso is within the horizontal dispersion still, and more of it's in the vertical. Because vertical dispersion is something we don't have a formula for, and I'm honestly not sure Wargaming does either. There are so many ships that just absolutely scoff at the idea of vertical dispersion being consistent. Russian battleships are some of the worst for this. Where most ships' vertical dispersion gets worse the closer you get, the Russians, it magically gets better the closer you get. It's dumb. It's why Russian battleships are so accurate at close range. Is simply because they don't have to deal with their vertical dispersion going crazy at close range. At least compared to their horizontal dispersion. At closer range, a Russian battleship will have more horizontal dispersion than vertical at some points. It's freaking weird, man. But, like, I've seen so many people try to claim that, oh, no, it's totally an aiming bug, man. Like, oh, you were shooting over an island, that's why your shells fell short. It's like, no. No, they just have a chance to do that. Because look at that. Like, I don't understand how this is hard to understand other than the game doesn't show you there is vertical dispersion, but there very obviously is vertical dispersion. Like, and the number of people I've seen that are going like, no, you're just coping, it's totally a bug. It's like, no, it's a mechanic of the game. It has been a mechanic of the game forever. Like, I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but it really was, your aim was just off. Like, imagine for a moment if we were to move this dispersion ellipse to be aiming at the Fuso's broadside. So basically, we're aiming at, say, the exact, like, right-hand side of the Fuso there. Imagine how that might change your dispersion. Because that's assuming you're aiming center mass. Which, changes things. If you were to be aiming completely to the left, completely to the right, well, left, right, yeah, you're gonna see different results than if you were to aim completely center mass. How tall a ship is also heavily impacts how your dispersion is going to work around them. If it's a shorter ship, having a lot of vertical dispersion means there's a pretty good chance your shells are just going to go straight over it. And it's part of the problem with this community of confirmation bias seems to rule above all else. So if I were to have instead sat here and went, yeah, the aiming system's bugged. Anytime your shells land short, it was a bug. Totally wasn't your fault at all. And if they were to just remove the aim assist, it would be no problem. I'd be lying to you. But you would then probably go out into battle and go, well, this content creator who knows what they're talking about in a lot of other ways told me that this is just a bug. And then you won't consider that you could have possibly aimed wrong. There is a way to aim wrong and still be on target. And it all comes down to understanding dispersion at different ranges. Vertical dispersion matters less at long range, more at close range. Horizontal dispersion matters less at close range, more at long range. It's just kind of how it works. But you'll hear from, I don't want to name CCs. I don't want to be that kind of person. But, you'll hear from many a CC and former CC that, oh no, the aiming's just bugged. No. The aiming system is how it's always been. I think the only recent actual bug that has come out of the aiming system that at least hasn't been a bug for so long it's a feature now was the railgun bug when I think the Russian heavy cruisers launched. That was 3-4 years ago. And it was fixed. In a way that at the time a lot of players didn't like, and I was sitting there going, yeah, some modicum of realism. Because, the barrels on your turret actually have to be pointed at the target now before you can fire. It's great. And they take longer to move. It takes time to elevate these giant barrels. It makes sense. I do apologize all the random audio cuts, but Warships doesn't keep playing audio when you're clicked out of the game. And I wanted to get my OBS back up. But, if you're ever just annoyed with dispersion, just come to this website, remind yourself that it's just how dispersion works. And just as a showing of what I use this website for most of the time, it has a builder. It has a builder that also shows you all of the information the game doesn't. So, we can see the vertical dispersion at max range. That formula is a guess. Wargaming's never officially stated the vertical dispersion, so it's a guess. It's just mostly what tends to work. We mostly know it by people firing. I mean, this is based on this guess of a formula, but it's pretty accurate. It's not the exact formula, I'm just saying. But you can even see, all kinds of information, including just the damage you'll take from a flood, a fire, your fire chance reduction, your torpedo protection. You can see exactly how long it'll take you to reach full speed, full reverse. You can see so much information on this website. It is an amazing tool if you really want to get dorky with it. The only thing that currently, at least last I checked, doesn't work is the Charlie Kilo flag. Yeah, it still doesn't work. They'll get it working in time. You see your salvo damage. It's great. I love this website. I highly encourage people to use this website because it's a pretty cool website. It does everything you could want it to do. And then some. Because there's a lot of information here I really couldn't care about. But it's also the tool I come to find Sigma of various ships. Mostly because, as much as I love Ship Tool, man, can that website be just clunky to navigate. So, you know. This one works. Ship Tool is better for secondaries. That is one thing I will say. Because, like, this DPM is theoretical. That is if all of these guns could be hitting the same target. And they can't. And they won't be. Like, it is purely theoretical. But now, with all of that out of the way, let's actually do some stuff. So this doesn't just turn into a big video of me just pointing out how dumb people can be. We are on the cusp of being done with Normandy, but I don't have the silver for Leon. I also kind of don't want Leon. I've also been making decent progress on this thing with a blue booster. You know, I don't know what I want to suffer with today. I've got so many ships I'm currently working on, and I really need to just stop and make some silver. I don't want to do two videos on the exact same silver generating ship. So you know what? Let's take Gallant out. Let's blue booster Gallant and take it out. And as always, it's 600 HP. Don't bother. Save your silver if you don't have them. If you have a ton of them, there's not a huge reason not to run it, but at the same time, it's really not enough to matter. That is such a small boost to your HP that it just doesn't matter. Well, that took a hot minute. Wow, that's a lot of destroyers. Okay. So, same concealment. I outspot. I'm outspotted by. Got it. I'm also outspotted by the submarine, and the submarine is on this flank. Of course it is. Why do I always spawn with the submarine? Confirmation bias. I don't always spawn with it. But it definitely feels like I do. I think the only time that I've experienced a why do I always spawn here that wasn't actually confirmation bias was with the Star Trek event. And it's because I was playing the destroyer. I was always spawning on the right-hand side or the middle. The destroyer couldn't spawn anywhere else unless there was more destroyer. Like, if there was only one destroyer, it would always be on the right-hand side. Like, that's just how that was set up for spawns. They were fixed spawns based on class, so. But, like, another thing to keep in mind is your dispersion ellipse is formed at your aim point. So if I were to aim right there, well, now more of my vertical is probably going to be behind that cargo container than in front of it. If I aim down here, more of it's probably going to be in front of it than behind it. That's dispersion. Like, it's a circle. Imagine it as a circle being drawn on the water. The trick comes in visualizing that circle. Like, that is the tricky part, and that is something that, yeah, it does take a good amount of time to get used to doing, and it's not easy to do. Which is where I wouldn't expect a new player to really know or even particularly care. You've learned where you need to aim, in general, to hit a ship. You're not, you know, pushing hard to try to get, like, all the citadels ever. Like, how he's coming. If I do that, those will probably hit. These reload fast enough, I really don't care. Oh, he's maneuvering. Clever girl. Looks like he's basically on his own there. The way he's turning, those may still hit. Or not. He's trying to get into the cap circle. It's very much why, if you want to hit the superstructure of a ship, like 2 of those shells landed a bit short. Vertical dispersion, my guys. Like, it's a thing. I did not lay a very big smoke screen, so I do need to be moving. So I really do not wish to get torpedoed. I can actually reverse a little more. Okay, there's the Gaeta. And there are aiming bugs in this game that, again, have more or less just been around for so long. They're not so much aiming bugs as much as they are aiming features at this point. Like, I also need to just abandon the cap. I would love to stay in there and finish capping, but there is almost certainly torpedoes on the way. So, and yeah, I wouldn't have got to finish capping anyway. Hey, little buddy. Okay, he's heading up this way, so that's the way I will be going. What's his HP? Potentially a lot. I wasn't paying attention to the number actually above him.
Our team has taken the lead.
But I should be pretty fine here. He's now on his own. I've got an Ismail that can back me up. He has Hydro. Which is part of the reason I didn't want to stay in that, Oh, hi. Rude. But thanks for letting me know you're right here. Okay. Okay. I don't know what his plan was there, but it wasn't a very good one. Oh, I thought the Gaeta was smoking up. It was just flooding I was seeing. See, that's what should happen when a destroyer depth charges a submarine. The problem becomes that isn't what happens for the most part when a destroyer depth charges a submarine. A good old submariner. Ow. Rude. I need to aim further ahead. Loady guns. That's just me aiming bad. Thank you, Ismail. Yeah, I really don't want to get shot again, so I'm just gonna not... I'm gonna get shot again anyway. And he missed. Bad aim is sometimes just bad. And now, because every smoke screen is a crawling smoke screen, that's one thing I do really like about Gallant compared to the tech tree, is you get the, you get standard smokes. You're not stuck on short bursts. So you can actually kind of sit and farm for a little bit. You do get fewer of them. I hate the map border so much. Like, you have to aim so stupidly. Just to even have a hope of hitting. Could I get a fire? That'd be pretty cool. I did get a fire. Glad to see my webcam is still covering the the chat. I've had to change around a few things because I have a new CPU now, so I had to do some computer changes, which basically meant that I had to move where my webcam was plugged in because it's now plugged into a completely new motherboard. So there we go. There is our dailies done. I want to know, the Ismail was basically complaining in the all chat there, like, thanks Wargaming. It's like, my guy, you're literally humping the map border. I have no sympathy for you at all. Yeah, we have 4. I need one more. And I'm not going to be able to get one more until the end of the frickin' second event pass. That's a bummer. We do have some containers to open, though, so before I even grab that, we have 1 super, 1 Santa's gift. So let's see, do I get anything? Signal flags. I'll take them. They're not necessary, but I'll definitely take them. And a Santa's gift. Economic boosters. I will take it. Now I'll collect this more coal, and I'm going to pop them all open. Oh, it's a super container. Okay, then. I guess I'm opening a super container. What we get? More signal flags. More speed flags. Those ones are actually more universally useful. They're still far from necessary, but they're more universally useful. New signal thing for me to ignore. I am very much closing in on being able to afford my next coal ship, which, purely because I'm a cruiser guy, and I want a tier 9 for making credits with. It's gonna be a Zuma. So, 16,000 more coal, and I will have it. You might be wondering why I'm not going for Tulsa, and I might. Okay, see, the problem I have with Tulsa, right, is, I mean, it's honestly something I can kind of show with the World of Warships builder, so give me one quick moment. There'll be a jump cut here. Okay, so, especially where the game's really quiet right now, I'm not going to care about having the game audio. When I'm in my browser showing this. Keep in mind, this will all be on base DPM. Upgrades exist, but you'll see why I'm saying that in a moment. Back to this. So here you can see 173,000 HE DPM. Tulsa's probably going to be spamming HE most of the time. You have 6 Des Moines guns. It's only 20k more than a Baltimore. And there's the fun thing here of, this is a 9-kilometer radar. This is a 10. Baltimore can stealth radar. Tulsa, I believe, cannot. Then you get Buffalo with 201,000 HE DPM. That is 30,000 more than Tulsa, while also having more AP DPM. and a 10-kilometer radar with nearly the same duration. So it even loses out on the duration argument while having, gonna be honest, 42,000 HP. I mean, it's just not enough. Not when you consider the free ship is 47,000. Like, and again, upgrades do exist. This with main battery mod, almost 200,000. This with reload mod does get to be basically a stock Buffalo. The problem is Buffalo can put that on too. Like, really, like, even range, you don't have an advantage. Buffalo will have more range. Baltimore can have more range. Tulsa is just sad. And I mean, I believe you can get pretty close. Yeah, you can get close to stealth radaring. But you can't stealth radar like Buffalo. Well, not Buffalo, Baltimore. And while you do have better concealment than Buffalo, you have about the same window before your radar is usable, only Buffalo's is 10 kilometers. Tulsa has so many things going against it that I just simply currently can't justify picking it up. Now, that said, that does kind of convince me that I may want to pick it up, especially where it is getting buffed, and I'm currently going to check exactly what those buffs were, because I don't remember what they were. I saw Tulsa, I just looked away. That is how long this ship has just been bad, and Wargaming refusing to actually buff it. Oh, it's getting Destroyer Dispersion. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Destroyer and Cruiser Dispersion are so freaking close to one another. If it was going from Battle Cruiser to Destroyer Dispersion, that's one thing. Battleship to Cruiser Dispersion, that's a big jump. Even Battle Cruiser to Cruiser. Cruiser to Destroyer, on average, is like 6 meters, maybe? Like... I can even demonstrate this for those who don't realize it's not that big of a difference. Let's see here. Here is a ship with 15.6 Destroyer Dispersion. 132 meters at 15.6. 142. At 15.8. So this is slightly worse, because that's your max dispersion. That's dispersion at 15.8 kilometers. Tulsa's still gonna be bad. Honestly, if they want to make Tulsa good, and Wargaming, free balance suggestion for you here. Plus, it would help fill out the armory a little bit. This might upset some people, so you would need to offer at least a partial refund, I suppose, of the coal spent. Just make Tulsa a tier 8. Like, seriously, just make it a tier 8. Just take that 9 and turn it into an 8, and suddenly Tulsa would be basically on par. It's the same with freaking Vallejo here. Like, this thing is also just a worse version of the same ship of the same tier. This is worse than Seattle. Like, the slower reload does, like, the only thing Vallejo has going for it is range. Vallejo doesn't even get radar. You have a quick spotter on American 150s. You don't want more range on these guns. You just don't. Trust me, you don't. But it would definitely help. I mean, there's some people that might have bought it with doubloons, but you just offer the refund in coal, and then you don't lose anything Wargaming. Just offer the refund for coal, because it is a coal ship. You can even say that, you know, the majority of players bought it for coal. You know, problem solved. It is really annoying to me how we have, like, one tier 8 in this entire... For the entirety of this. We now have 2 tier 8s. We have 1 tier 8 cruiser, no tier 8 destroyer. Tier 8s have been so underserved in the coal store. We really need more. But yeah, I'm honestly... I might pick up Tulsa just because it is bad, but I kind of just want to pick up Azuma. Tulsa is really the only proper cruiser at tier 9, though. The rest of them are all battle cruisers. Which, again, like... Wargaming, please. Please. Even tier 10s, we have a proper cruiser, battle cruiser, battle cruiser. Proper cruiser, that's bad. Battle cruiser, proper cruiser, battle cruiser. And before anyone says anything, heavy cruiser stops at 203. This is a battle cruiser, no matter what the Russians say. A heavy cruiser has 203mm guns, no exception. That is how naval classification works. They can argue it until they're blue in the face. They are wrong. Same with the Russians trying to argue that this is a light cruiser. Technically, this is its own classification of cruiser because light cruiser stops at within the 1.5x range. 155 is, I believe, the absolute largest you can make your guns and have it still be classified a light cruiser, because all ship classification looks at is gun size. Meaning, yes, you could strap a... You could literally take all the aircraft off of an aircraft carrier, strap a 203mm gun on it, and suddenly it is a very big heavy cruiser. Like, because ship classification is that stupid. But at the same time, though, if you put aircraft on it, suddenly it's an aircraft carrier again. So, you know. Because the aircraft take precedent over the guns. Man, this has just been a ranty episode. I've only played a single battle. I feel like I should play another one. I don't know if Warship players like long videos. I need to actually look at my metrics for the long videos I've done. So we're gonna do another battle anyway. Wow, that's a lot of destroyers again. Okay. I believe I'm either on par or outspot them, so... Other than the submarine. And hey, I'm not on the submarine flank, but I should go to the submarine flank. This is one of those moments where, like, I've seen a lot of players be like, oh, well, you want to go where all your teammates are. It's like, well, kind of, but we also don't want to just abandon the north, so I'm going to play more central, but to the north. Like, it wouldn't do any good to have someone be able to just easily slip through right there and just cap our point, because they can kind of just huddle up there and be mostly fine. The aircraft carrier would stop that, but... Which is, you know, another bonus of aircraft carriers. Like it or not, they do stop ninja caps. Or at least do a pretty good job at stopping them. They're not perfect at it. It does take the carrier player actually knowing what they're doing. Of which I have no faith that ours does. It's one of the bonuses of not being in a clan. Like... You see this same principle, and it's more something I basically learned from Team Fortress 2. You do see this principle a lot in Team Fortress 2, where if someone is not wearing a hat, or they are wearing, like, a noob hat, especially if they're wearing a noob hat, like if they're wearing a ghastly gibbous, players automatically assume that's not a good player. Warranted or not, they're just like... Well, that's not a good player. Yeah, our ranger is not a very good player. He literally just drove straight through that fighter. I'm gonna throw speculative torps that way.
Generator started.
Don't mind being spotted here.
Engine boost activated. Smoke screen set.
My entire job was just doing that. Come on, little buddy. Got plenty of dudes to shoot. Nah, you don't feel like shooting dudes? Well, it's more the dudes got away, but... Didn't get much spotting damage. Probably because the Nuremberg was also... That Nuremberg's gonna die. And their submarine is up here somewhere. This isn't exactly a great position to be in. Ah, there's their submarine. Thanks for spotting yourself, buddy. Nah, I should have set that spread a little wider. I mean, it's not doing any good, but he did spot himself. I really don't know what to do here. So I call our
The enemy team has taken the lead.
good. Good.
Engine boost deactivated.
Okay, submarine surveillance is up. Yeah, I get the feeling this is just kind of over. And that's the time I really should have had that go a little shorter. Well, let's see if I can get any damage before this ends. Let's get the AP loaded. Don't know why he decided to not shoot at me, but... whatevs.
Torpedoes dead ahead. Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes to
Those will
starboard.
probably have been his torps. There's not enough of them for them to have been... They could be submarine. I was gonna say there's not enough of them for them to have been anything else, but there's exactly 4 of them. Hello, submarine.
Engine boost activated.
Oh, to hit this guy, I'm gonna have to get spotted by the Dutchy, aren't I? Yeah.
Enemy submarine in sight.
Ah, he came up to periscope. This is so annoying. I just want to kill the submarine, but I'm not gonna get a chance to. Yeah, and I completely missed with that. Well, I got a splash. That's so annoying. This is why destroyers should be given depth charge drops. Everyone should just have them. Absolutely everyone. Other submarines should have them. Everyone should have depth charge drops. There should not be, like... either that, or destroyers should all be given submarine surveillance that lasts for minutes at a time. One or the other. Like... I don't want to get into the rant of how unfun submarines are. Like, they are the least fun for the class that should be the class that counters them. As much as I think destroyers have too much hand-holding as it is, the fact that a destroyer has to drive over a submarine to hurt it is a problem when nobody else really does. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Long video. Hopefully y'all learned a thing or two about aiming and dispersion. And it's not always bugs. It's... more often than not, it's not bugs. It's just the dispersion. Dispersion's a lot more complex than just point and click. As much as I swear a lot of people want it to just be that. If you ever see somebody being like, oh, if they were to just remove the aim assist, all these bugs would go away. That is somebody who does not understand the aiming system. Like, removing the aim assist wouldn't magically make them more accurate. You'd still be dealing with the dispersion. Only instead of, with the aim assist, guiding your shells to where they need to go, they would be all through that circle. Because the aim assist is your Sigma. Yeah. You remove the aim assist, and your dispersion goes everywhere. Which is where, oh, we'll just give everyone permanent lock-on accuracy. It's like, yeah, but you'd still be dealing with that dispersion circle, and without the aim assist guiding it towards your target, you would still be less accurate without the aim assist. So even if it was a toggle you could turn off, turning it off would still be the worst thing you could do. So maybe we should add it, so that a lot of these CCs that think they're hot shit would suddenly realize they're not actually all that great at aiming, and rely quite heavily on the aiming system. But yeah, that's it for this one. I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here on Monday for the next one. See you then.